Well, I'm very glad to be joined by two wonderful women and very special women of West Tigers, Brittney Tamou and Joelle Maguire. Thank you for joining me today. Britt, first of all, I go to you. We're up in Queensland, quarantine process. You're out, you're in the hotel now. What's it been like? Kind of the last month for you as a mother? I imagine it's been just slightly chaotic at times.
Yeah, it has. The 2 weeks of isolation was a long 2 weeks. But in saying that, we were looked after so well by the NRL and the West Tigers families. So we had a lot of fun. We got some bonding time with our family and crew. So yeah, feel very fortunate to be able to be up here, to be honest.
Joelle, can you talk me through what the kind of process was like around finding out you were going to Queensland, and then what that kind of whole process was like in getting into quarantine, and then now eventually being in the same hotel as Michael and the rest of the team?
Oh, I think, like Britt said, we're just feeling very fortunate that we've been given this opportunity. It was certainly last minute. Great decisions had to be made really fast, and factoring in each family has a different scenario. You know, I've got 3 children and their educational needs. We didn't know if remote learning would extend. So I think personally for our family, we weren't sure at first whether we could make this work or not. And it was a gamble of, will remote learning continue? If it does, then obviously we can manage that up here. So we did make the right call. It was all very quick, very fast, but as Britt said, the NRL managed it so well. It was a crazy couple of 48 hours first getting into quarantine, and we all just did the best we could. We had amazing staff on ground to help us and support us. So we're really fortunate and just had to make do with our quarantine situation, get the remote learning happening. Yeah, we had a primary campus in one room, secondary campus in the next room, year 5 and 6, year 7 and year 9 and year 11. It was fun.
And what's that been like now, I guess, for you as you continue that learning, you know, now moving forward for the next couple of weeks? How's that all going?
Yeah, now that we've moved from the quarantine hotel into the hub with the families, obviously it's a little bit more settled. We have a lot more freedom within the hotel to move around, and the kids can get out and have their brain breaks. So it's definitely much easier. I'm a teacher myself, and like every family, there's challenges with remote learning, and the full credit goes to all the teachers who are in the schools trying to adapt the programs and deliver the curriculum. So we're managing just fine and taking every day as it comes, and yeah, just valuing family time together.
Britt, your situation is probably a little different, obviously very similar in terms of teaching and learning and looking after kids at home, but you've got different kids in different states at the moment. How's that going for you, and what's that situation like?
Yeah, so I've only got 2, the middle 2. So I've got Barclay and Bronx, who are 6 and 5, and the other 2, the eldest Brooklyn, who's 7, and the youngest Bear, who's 3. They're with mum. So I've got the middle 2. They actually left before Sydney went into a lockdown. So as school holidays started, the eldest and youngest headed down to Canberra with my mum to the farm, and sort of lockdown happened and they were going to stay there for the 2 weeks. Obviously Sydney got extended, and then we came up here. So I'm very fortunate to have my mum, who is literally like their other mum, and they'd honestly preferred to be with her, which is great. It makes me feel really, really good. But having 4 in isolation on the Gold Coast for 2 weeks, I think that just would have been too much and not fair on the boys, because they are so active, and containing them in one room would have just been pretty funny. So
I don't think you mean funny.
No. So yeah, I'm very about that. So yeah, I feel very fortunate that I've got an incredible mum that has helped us out so much.
And how's that been now for, I guess, you being back around James now? How's that been in kind of getting that family unit back together again?
Yeah, it's incredible. He's such a great father and just loves his boys so much. They definitely missed him. So yeah, we're missing the other two. I don't think the other two are missing us. They're having the time of their lives. But yeah, it is definitely so much better being back in the hub and being around all the West Tigers families.
You both spoke a lot around kind of the camaraderie that I guess happened amongst everyone that went through that quarantine process together. And obviously so many of those are, partners and children of families. I guess, Joe, how did you kind of see everyone kind of come together a little bit? Because obviously you're quite connected as a group and involved with the club, but spending that unique circumstance and time together was a bit of a unique experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. We're really fortunate. All the West Tigers families are beautiful. They're really great. We feel like everyone's resilience really was shown in that 2 weeks. So as a West Tigers club, we're really lucky to have great families, but being spread across 20 or 25 different levels of a hotel, we actually had all the other clubs on our floor as well. So it was a great opportunity to mix with the other families from other clubs, meet new people, see old people, because people move around a lot in football and cross paths. So it was actually really great for the kids to meet other people who were on their floor that we were restricted to. And it was actually a really good opportunity to grow.
Britt, you've obviously been involved with several clubs, I guess, having been, James has been involved with several clubs. What's kind of stood out to you about West Tigers in that space, I guess?
Yeah, we've met some lifelong friends along the way, that's for sure. But we definitely feel at home at the West Tigers. It's a family club, and we feel very involved and loved by all. Everyone has been so nice and welcoming that we really feel like this is our home, and we've bonded so well with the team.
We seem to we have obviously the Women in League round every year, and the round, I guess, is to stop and highlight the contributions of women right across the game. I think what's wonderful is that it continues outside of just one round. Right? I think obviously the round is important to recognise and as a celebratory mark, I guess. But I guess, Britt, for you, having been and probably gone through many Women in League round now, I guess, how's the round kind of taken on extra meaning for you, I guess, as you become a mother and continue to be part of rugby league?
Yeah, definitely having 3 of my 4 boys starting junior rugby league, I see behind the scenes of how hard women in our sport work. The canteen ladies, the coaching staff, the referees, so many people are volunteering their weekends and their time for our game, especially for our juniors as well as our big boys. But I think it's such an important round to acknowledge the time and effort and all the incredible people behind the scenes. It's such a special round to me.
Joelle, you've obviously seen it both in Australia and in England, the growth of women in rugby league. What's kind of stood out to you in how that's grown in the last few years?
Probably similar to what Britt said, just, I guess in 18 years across 4 clubs here in Australia and over in England, the participation of women has just grown more and more, right from that grassroots level through to the club administrators even and officials, and now seeing the women's game, which is so amazing to watch, the athleticism of the girls playing. So I've definitely in the last 18 years really seen more and more involvement across the game of women. So it's brilliant to see it recognised, even for that one round, just to acknowledge their involvement, and it's just growing. It's great to see.
I'm sure Britt can back me up here, but you obviously play such a really important role in bringing all of the women together at West Tigers. Why is that so important to you?
Oh, just as a family, I think rugby league is pretty unique in you don't know where you may be next. You're as a family unit could be moving around a lot, and for the boys to be at their best on the park and play their best game, it's really important that their whole family unit feels supported off the park as well. So some of the girls, even just at our club here, they've been moving around, relocating. You often don't have family nearby. So it's just important to know that there's people in the same situation as you, or people in the club who are really wanting to help support you and your children and your family.
Britt, is that true? Like, is that kind of your experience as well of that?
Absolutely. And I feel that our time away being with everyone, we've actually really bonded even more as a club and a unit. So yeah, feel very fortunate to be a part of such a special club.
I'm feeling it even more. Michael has two things in his life. It's football and family, and his role is so demanding and time consuming. And I'm grateful when he hasn't got a chance to go across, say we've got a park across the road where we are here, the players are taking Caden, my son, over and having a kick with them. The kids are all playing together. So yeah, it's all the girls are really pulling together, and all the players are helping out and making everyone feel really comfortable and supported.
Now, Britt, you mentioned 4 boys, so I'm thinking in a few years' time, that's what, probably another front rower, maybe 2 edge forwards and a ball playing lock. Is that kind of the thinking there? Are we? Yeah, is that they're all involved in junior rugby league? So I'm assuming there's a lot that kind of goes into, as you said, recognising not only the contribution at the top level in NRL, but so many women playing such a role right through the juniors and into kind of junior reps and under 20s, reserve grade, like it's everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So many incredible women, family, friends, volunteers. We have great support for our family as you know, James and the Tigers usually play on weekends or Friday nights. So Saturday mornings, our boys will have all 3 games, all different fields, all at the same time. So trying to get there by myself with 4 boys is so hard to try and make it happen. But they have special godmothers each, Auntie Lynn, Auntie Rick, my mum, my dad, that all sort of chip in and help out. So yeah, it's incredible how much help and incredible women and support we have around.
Probably a question for both of you. What does this round mean to you? Like, I guess, and that's probably changed over the years as you see the involvement of women grow and you kind of both become more and more important in the clubs. I guess, I'll go to Joelle first. I guess, what does this round kind of represent when you think about women in league round?
Probably just feeling like we're valued. It's great that the game recognises the contribution of women, not just myself or other partners and wives, and it's just great to see that the game acknowledges everyone's contribution to this sport.
And Britt, I guess for you, what does this kind of round mean when you think about women in league round?
It's special. It gives us a moment to acknowledge all the special people that support this game and keep it moving forward in that direction. At all different levels, we've got all that help and support.
Well, I certainly think I speak on behalf of not only everyone at West Tigers, but so many people associated with rugby league to say thank you for your individual and collective contributions to this club and to women in league round. Certainly know that nothing would be happening without all of the incredible women that are doing so much work behind the scenes. And as we've said, continuing to become more and more, prominent in those roles. So I'm very excited to see this weekend take flight right across the NRL. I'm certainly very excited to see a new Women in League jersey for the first time in a number of years, which will be very cool. So thank you so much for both of your time. And thank you again for all of your contributions to West Tigers and Women in League round.
Thank you, Dan. It's great to see you.